Hello, fancy people. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a beautiful, fabulous week. I do obviously have to apologize for last Monday and hopefully not this Monday. My computer has been acting really stupid. I made the video, but it just won't let me upload it. So I'm trying again, and hopefully this video will be up this Monday. Anyways, what I wanted to talk to you guys today about, as you can tell from the title, is I want to talk to you guys about your year so far. So many people, since the new year has happened, it is later on in the month. However, in the beginning of January, everybody was like so focused on your 2017, your 2017, are you having the best 2017? Make sure you kickstart it right, you jumpstart your 2017, make sure you start the year off right, start the year off with the right foot, all this good stuff. So we have been being flooded and bombarded and harassed with the idea that the beginning of your 2017 has to start off fantastic. And it's all fine and dandy for those people who are, like some people are like, yeah, starting my 2017 off right. But what about those of us who literally started 2017 off on the other foot? What if your 2017 started off bad? What if literally your 2017 is the beginning of this month has been very hard? What if the end of the year was the worst time of your life? What if you hit the worst setback you could have ever imagined? What if something that you have been working for all year was literally taken away from you, or drawn back, or drawn out further away from, what you thought you were going to get at the beginning of the year? What if your year just started off not so right? What about those of us? And I am here today to help all of us who are going through this situation. The first thing that we must do if we are in this situation is actually reflect on, why do we feel this way? Why do we feel that our 2017 isn't starting off right? Decipher precisely what it is that is not so great about the beginning of your year. Now, why I'm saying this is because sometimes, and this may knock a lot of you off the list right now, but sometimes when so many people are posting so many positive things about their life, we tend to compare it to where we are in our lives. And when we compare our life to someone else's who completely has absolutely nothing to do with our level of success, but someone else, we compare, the quality of their life, where it is right now, to ours, we start to make our life feel a little bit less, amazing. We start to feel a little bit depressed and not so much jealous is of the word, but when you look at someone who's doing good and you look at your life, you're like, well, I'm just working this job and paying my rent. They're traveling the world and they got married and I'm single. When we kind of compare ourselves to someone else, we tend to make our situation seem worse than what it actually is. So if you are that person, first thing I want you to do is get off Instagram, get off Snapchat, get off Facebook, get off YouTube. That's the worst one. Get off YouTube, get off those, bloggers who are absolutely having an amazing time. Because just because someone else's life seems amazing, that doesn't mean that yours isn't amazing either. Just because you're not doing the same exact thing as someone else who's possibly the same age as you, doesn't make your life less valuable. So what we must do is stop comparing ourselves to other people. My favorite quote, and I will say it in every single video, is what's for you is only for you. So what that means is the direction of your life is literally planned out, scaled, and shaped just for you. No one can take away what is to come for you, and what is for someone else has absolutely nothing to do with the level of success that you will achieve, you have achieved, or you are at in your life. Success is only measured by the goals that you make, okay? So number one, let's stop comparing ourselves and actually figure out what it is that is going on in our lives. All right. So the next thing that we must do if our 2017 is starting off on the right foot, and I feel like this is a really, really big one, and I can kind of relate to this, but because so many people are talking about how amazing, how you want to kickstart your 2017 year off right to set the tone for your entire year, I don't want you to think if your 2017 has been hard so far and stressful and things just haven't been working out and random things are just popping up that just don't make no sense and you're just super stressed out right now, I don't want you to think and condemn your entire year based off of what's going on right now. What does that mean? What I'm trying to say is, just because the beginning of your year started off bad doesn't mean that your entire year is going to be a bad year. That has absolutely no correlation. The reason is because in life there are seasons. There are seasons for growing. There are seasons for success. There are seasons for failure. There are seasons for reconstruction. There are seasons for training and learning. There are seasons for everything. Think about flowers. Think about trees. Trees are dead right now. But does that mean the tree is like a bad tree? No, that's just the season that it's in right now. So if you are in the season just like the trees and you're falling into little pieces and pieces of you have just been falling apart, that doesn't mean that this year is going to be bad for you. If anything, that means that this year is going to be one of the most amazing years in your life. Think about all the times that something came up and it kind of broke you a little bit, you at the time you just really could not understand, why am I going through this? Why did this have to happen to me, God? Why do I have to be going through this? Why did I have to be told no? Why did I work so hard to get that promotion or to get that person or to get anything and it was taken away from me, or I didn't get it, or I got fired, or any kind of some drawback or setback. We tend to really not understand at the time, why did that have to happen? And we get so upset, and it's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad, and it's okay to be sad. But think about when you were in a time like that in your life in the past. And when you look at it now and you look back, you completely understand why you had to go through that. The perfect example for everyone, and I know for me, is definitely heartbreaks. For instance, there was a guy that I dated when I was in 8th grade. Absolutely in love with him. I probably would have died for that boy. I was so in love with him. And he broke up with me, like out of nowhere. And he just told me, like, just because I don't think, I just don't want to be with you. At the time, I don't think I've ever cried so hard in my life. I was so devastated. I couldn't understand why he would want to break up with me. Why would he want to do something like that to me? Why would he do that to me? Why would God allow this to happen to me? Why would he bring someone into my life that I wanted so bad? I had a crush on him since 6th grade. Why would he bring someone into my life that I liked so much and then take them away from me after like 3 days? Well, now, I don't know how many years later, but now, and if I look back at that guy, Jesus, he went to jail, he has babies, he's a hot mess. I completely would not be with him to this day. I would not be with him if he approached me right now. So God was doing me a favor. He ripped something out of my hand. I was like, whoa, girl, hold on, wait, what are you doing? You need to focus on something else because that is not it. So that's exactly what you're going through right now. You're crying and you don't understand why did this have to happen to me? But later on, trust and believe, and you know it. And that's the thing, we always know that we're going through that for a reason. So don't condemn your entire year and base the tone of your entire year just on what's going on right now. This is really heavy on my heart because this time last year was one of the hardest times of my life. As you guys know, last year I lived in an apartment, and it was my first apartment. And moving into that apartment, I didn't have a job. I was unemployed for 2 months. that's a crazy story. However, the moment there was this one job, it was paying $15 an hour, and it was really good hours, and it was doing something that I liked. And this job, it took like 3 months just to get hired for this job. I had to get testing, I had to go to training, I had to do so much just to get this job. I prayed over this job, like, because one paycheck from this job paid my rent and I still had some left over. So this was a really, really, really good job. And so I had gotten hired, and literally like January, I don't know, the beginning of January, I had gotten a phone call and they told me not to come in to work today. They said, "Hey, hello, Clarice. I know you have work tomorrow. It was a Tuesday, but we just want to let you know not to come in. You don't need to come in tomorrow." So at the time, I was like, "Okay, that's awesome." What? So I called them the next day asking why they didn't want me to come in. Is, you know, school canceled or something like that? Because I was working with kids, and they told me, "Oh, sorry, you are fired." And I haven't even been working at that job for more than, let's say, a week. And they call me, they tell me I'm fired. This job that took 3 months for me to get. I worked so hard to get that job, prayed over this job. And literally, I finally, and all I wanted, you know, was stability, because I was hustling, trying to pay my rent, and I finally had something that was, you know, it felt like my year was going right. And then out of nowhere, the opportunity that was in my head, what my whole year was going to be about, was ripped from under my feet. I was so distraught, so devastated. And on top of it, they didn't even want to pay me the paycheck that I had. They didn't want to give it to me. They were telling me to wait like a whole other month, and I had to pay my rent that month. So I had to fight just to get paid. I had to show up at the office 5 days in a row with my father and literally force them to pay me my check. And they got so annoyed with me showing up every single day that they finally just paid me. And I got to pay my rent, thank God. But you can see now I was unemployed, and I had to pay rent the next month again. I had to pay for school, I had to pay for transportation, my car, I had to pay for all these things, and I was unemployed. And it was after getting fired from that job was the time that I sat down, and I really was so distraught, and I really knew that I had to reconstruct my life. So I sat down and I really figured out, okay, if I'm not supposed to be working there, I want to do what I've always wanted to do then. So I thought about my year, and I completely, instead of looking at the year like this is going to be the worst year of my life, I said this is going to be one of the best years of my life. And the next month I had gotten hired as an interior designer. And it took me getting ripped away from that job that would have made me comfortable. It took me getting fired and they didn't even have a reason why they fired me. It was literally a weird investigation. It was a mystery. I just gotten fired just because, out of nowhere. And so it took that. No, that was like me getting broken up with the guy. At the time, I didn't know that he wasn't right for me. At the time, I didn't know that he wasn't supposed to be in my future. And at the time, I didn't know that there was something else out there for me. But later on, when I got hired at my new job as interior designer, which I still am at now, and loving it. But now I look back and I'm so glad that I got fired. I'm so thankful that I had gotten fired, because had I not gotten fired, I would have never looked for any interior design jobs. I would not be an interior designer right now. I would still be an avid tutor. Could you imagine? Could you imagine me still being an avid tutor? Oh, my life would be so boring. It would be so boring, right? So if you guys are in the same predicament, you don't necessarily have to be fired. It could be a breakup, it could be anything, any kind of drawback, any kind of thing that made you a little weary about this year. I want to remind you that there are seasons. So right now you're just in a season of reconstruction. You're being molded, and you're being sculpted, and you're being guided into the right direction. Usually when things come abruptly and they ruin your plans, that just means that you have something so much greater on the other side. So all I want to do is remind you guys to is to always dream big. Go after your dreams and go after your goals with conviction. And if something is coming up out of nowhere, don't fret. Just get excited, because that means that something so much greater is on its way. All right, you guys, I love you so much, and I thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm so sorry. But always follow my Instagram and follow my Snapchat. I post daily. Both of them are Clarice Fancy, and you guys can contact me for anything if you want me to talk on a certain subject. Ask me any questions you guys want to know. I am an open book. I am here to share information with you. I love you guys so much. Remember to design a fancy life and have a beautiful, fabulous, productive week. And don't let the enemy get you. You guys are amazing and you can do anything. All right? I love you. Have a great day.